which is designing for AI or designing AI. It feels like this is the moment where designers can help out. You had all the fundamental research into the maths and the concepts, and then you had these algorithms that were exposed, and then they had to build systems to train those algorithms, and there's just been enormous amounts of infrastructure to get all the text into a format where they could train these large language models. And then they built the first prototype of a product that really benefited from these massive systems. And now there's hundreds of millions of people using them. And the exciting opportunity is to start playing with these building blocks that have been forged by all of the researchers and developers before. So I just wanted to kind of document some of the thoughts that have been rattling around my head and like what's been going on in my mind. Firstly, it's this kind of duality of excitement from young people that I sense and terror from old people, which I guess is like always going to happen. But I think that it is a lot more palpable this time because of the speed of change. You know, crypto hasn't really got quite as many users as fast, but it has kind of had some people kind of railing against it. But this has fundamentally shifted the dynamics of many industries very quickly, and quite rightly, I think, people are intimidated by it. But the kind of overall theme I keep picking up on is men older than me complaining and worrying, and kids who are trying to make a mark on the world are just excited and ready to contribute and want to play with it. And I think that this theme is going to keep coming back, right? Is the people who are under threat, whether they're musicians like Drake or they are more established business leaders, they have an incentive to talk about slowing things down or pausing or rolling it back or regulating. And people who have everything to gain and all the upside are looking for their shot. And it kind of makes me realize that like I'm probably in the middle of those bunch of two in terms of age, but I'm trying to constantly bring my mind back to what young people are saying and doing instead of what old people, or it's like what young people are doing is more important than what old people are saying. And that's a pretty extreme take, I guess. And some people will say, oh, that's just, youthful enthusiasm. But I'm not hearing any solutions from older people. I'm not hearing of any new innovative products or ideas or systems. I'm just hearing calls for caution, calls for regulatory frameworks, calls for, pause. Whereas from kids, I'm hearing about courses they're making or prototypes they're building or ideas they're sharing or things they want to make. And it's just so much more inspiring and I think more likely to lead to systems that benefit us. I'm not an expert in any of this stuff, but it's a whole new material. And then the other thing that's so fascinating was to watch the reaction to Humane as an object. I mean, this is a miniaturized projector that can dynamically broadcast light onto any surface and connects to an entire suite of services that are embedded with the most cutting edge artificial intelligence systems out there. If all Humane does is a kind of teleprompter in Siri form that has better answers than Siri, that's a major contribution to the culture. But they've gone way further than that, and they've actually got tools to project light out into the real world so that there's feedback mechanisms. And they have kind of taken on the challenge of building an entirely new suite of software services and hardware to bring these algorithms into a new receptacle. Because going into another iPhone app probably isn't going to be enough. We've got to do much more. And again, what you saw was all these people saying, oh, they're overhyped, they've raised $250 million. This is a complete underwhelming demo. And all I saw from kids was curiosity about how do they do the projector? Like, how does that work? Like, what's involved? And I just thought that was so much more invigorating than older people kind of giving their fixed opinions on it. So I think the summary of this for me is I want to start designing things in this space. I want to contribute to teams who are playing around. And I want to focus not on established industry veterans who have opinions, but on young kids who are trying to get ideas out of their head and see if I can help them. I think that will be like the right source of source material for me to start helping out in this area. In particular, there's a course from McKay Wrigley on how to use Replit and the OpenAI API. OpenAI API. That's a bit of a mouthful. And there's the challenge of getting more familiar with Python as a development environment, which is something I'm excited to play around with. And then just start making little tools. One of the first tools I'm going to make for myself is one that can link together variety of location and wind data relative to where I physically am to make suggestions on where I should go kite surfing. There's pulling together weather data and location data and maybe even a few other factors. And then the other one is an email indexer. I want to ask Gmail a bunch of questions about the 20,000 unanswered emails and see if it can find anything amazing in there. In particular, who are the people I have emailed back and forth for over 10 years who I haven't responded to? I think that would be a very interesting question to ask Gmail and to get an answer out of it. So those are just like a couple ideas off the top of my head, but I'll also just be trying to listen and learn from people who are building things and are at the coalface right now. So my coffee's ready. Gonna get this going. And we'll see if this microphone has done well. I'm pretty excited about this one. You can see here, I've just clipped it on to my iPad. I've got this device here. And if this works as a setup, then I'm going to be able to just carry around a couple mics with me super easily and just jump into high quality audio content with medium quality video. And I think that is what I want to optimize for, is having portability, accessibility, and not needing like the perfect setup every time I want to make a quick video. So we'll go from there, and hope this has been interesting. All right, bye-bye.